Greetings from Podcastville, you bad motherfuckers. It's Thursday, the 23rd, whatever the fuck it is. Who gives a shit? You're alive. You're fucking smoking dope. Most importantly, you're ready to sling fucking dick. Listen, the song of the day out of respect for Buffalo is You and Die by Rick James, 78. Put that on right now on YouTube. That's when black people were black people. Even Martin Luther King popped up and said, Jesus, you're on fire, Rick. Anyway, the Church of What's Happening Now is brought to you, and I want to welcome them because I fucking love this shit. Butcher Box. Listen, the big game is right around the corner next week. That means you're going to have a party, which means you're going to have a bunch of fucking savages tearing through your refrigerator, eating up all your food. Hopefully you'll have some class and you won't feed these people fucking hummus or a bowl of potato chips or a veggie plate because you're a fucking savage. This year, level your game the fuck up and give them Butcher Box. You're like, Joey, what's Butcher Box? Butcher Box is a subscription service that sends you 9 to 11 pounds of high-quality, humanly raised organic meat every month. They ship it frozen and vacuum sealed, so it arrives at your door as fresh as a fucking pussy out of the shower. You understand me? Last night I had the fucking salmon, and my wife made like a little cape of lemon sauce on top of it, and it was fucking tremendous. She took out 2 steaks tonight to take a look at. I'm going to give Lee a couple burgers they sent us. Listen, it is sensational. I'm usually not big on these food services, but lately with the meat shit, and you got to take care of yourself with the organic. What I'm going to do is this. They got free-range chicken, heritage pork, wild-caught salmon, grass-fed beef, but they got something that all you motherfuckers love. You ready? Since I'm talking about Buffalo, you ready? Wings. So right now, Butcher Box has a special offer. Lee, you might as well write it down. Free wings for life of your subscription. What? That's 3 pounds of wings and every box you order forever.
For free?
Plus, you get $20 off your first box and free shipping in the lower 48. Just go to butcherbox.com/church and use promo code CHURCH at checkout. Listen, I'm going to be checking up on you motherfuckers, okay? If you get Butcher Box, you're going to get an extra little reward from me. But you also got to cook the wings a certain way. Not teriyaki like Fag Boy. Not none of that shit. It's Frank's hot sauce and a stick of butter. And you whip it around and you put them in there. And then you take it out and you fucking sift them. If you're not going to do that and cut up nice blue cheese with a nice piece of celery, don't deal with me no more. Don't even listen to this fucking podcast. Go to Pollo Loco, and I hope you choke to death. Anyway, the church is also brought to you by ZipRecruiter. It's a new year. The perfect opportunity to take your business to the next level by hiring the right people. But finding qualified candidates can be challenging. See, if I knew ZipRecruiter, I wouldn't have Lee. ZipRecruiter.com/church makes it easy. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards. Listen, let's cut out this shit. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. Can you imagine that? All the time they're going to save you. And right now, the church family gets ZipRecruiter for free, gratis, niente. ZipRecruiter.com/church. That's how easy it is. ZipRecruiter.com/church. Let me spell out church for you because you might be a little stupid today. I'm a little out of it. CHURCH. ZipRecruiter.com/church. The smartest way to hire. Song of the day is You and I Play It. Kick that fucking mule, Lee. Anyway, there ain't no mule to kick. I had to send them back because everybody's getting in trouble these days. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait till they come back to me and say, hey, Joey, you're in trouble because you told Lee to kick that fucking mule. But anyway, I don't give a fuck about mules, except 2 mules for Sister Sarah. My main man is here today, representing Buffalo.
What's up?
Fucking great little comedian, Josh Potter.
Thanks so much for having me, dude.
I've known you since before the glasses. And I got to tell you, you've made me very proud the last couple months. Number one,
Thank you.
I know you've been here for about a year.
A little over, well, almost 2 years.
It's so crazy how you go to different comedy clubs and you see comics and 100 of them tell you what their plans are, and you talk to them and you try to talk to them as honestly as you can. I've always spoken to you. And then you see them out here and you try to give them love or whatever in the beginning. This is what I've learned. And I've learned that they go home within the first 6 months.
For sure.
This is a hard place to make a living. Thank God you were friends with Tom, and he loves you with all his heart. I mean,
I'm so thankful.
I've had 1,000 conversations with Tom, and you gave me a little gig on the podcast to put a little change in your pocket. You're doing some work around town, so I really applaud.
Thank you.
What you're doing. I'm very, 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 very proud of you.
That means so much. Thank you very much.
No, you know me, dog. I'm down with the. Don't call me up at 2 a.m. and tell me about your plans, because I don't want to fucking hear them.
And I don't like talking about that.
I
want to
see what the fuck you're doing. And I hear around town, Josh Potter was there, and you're very likable. I mean, everybody I talks to says they love you. I know you were on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and somebody actually called me and said, "Listen to this podcast with Potter." He goes fucking ape shit, and I go, "Let me tell you something, Potter. You remind me of Potter. Why I've always fallen in love with you, and I've never told you."
Who's that?
The guy that told me, that basically threatened my life. Listen to this. He was built like you. Wow. He looked like you. He had glasses like you. He had the intelligence of, name it. He ran the prison library. Nice. He was from Buffalo. Wow. And he had murdered his wife and the mailman because he was fucking the wife or something. He was on the tail end of a 30-year, 20-year, whatever. And he didn't say much. He rolled his own cigarettes. He was just and he hung out with another dude from Buffalo. We had like 4 guys in the prison from Buffalo.
Wow. All the way out there?
Yeah, they'd get together and watch the Bills and talk shit. One guy was Big T. Big motherfucking black dude. His family owned a barber shop in Buffalo. You ever come to Buffalo? Come to the corner. Oh, yeah, there's 1,000 corners. Yeah. And this librarian, and me and this librarian became tight. And we even did acid. Oh, nice. We got some acid gotten in there because they couldn't test you for acid. Okay. And he was a hallucinogenic guy. So me, him, and a Crip named Torrey Powell's, we were in barracks, army barracks, and there would be a guard that would drive around once an hour. And, some nights you can't sleep. You're allowed to go outside and sit in the barracks and read a book. This night, all 3 of us were fucking flying. We're fucking flying
in
on this
prison. I can't.
And I mean, this is acid.
Acid in
this
prison.
Was real. Like you're tripping in your room. Yeah. You fucking, the lights are on. You think the cops are coming.
Yeah, the cops are there.
And finally, I get a knock on my door, and it's the Crip. Hey, he's like, "Man, I can't take it in my room no more." I go, "All right, let's go get the librarian." We get in the librarian. He's like, "Thank God you came." Because I was just trying to see devils and shit. So I remember sitting outside on a bench. Just, you think about prison, you see these movies, and you think about. But no matter where you go in this life, whether it's on a negative or a positive, you always meet 2 or 3 people that are tight that make that part of your life a lot easier. And these 2 guys, I owe my life. And I'm sitting there with them, and we're fucking outside, and the birds are sounding like hawks. At 2 in the morning, a little cheep, cheep sounds like fucking. Then the sprinklers went on, and we were fucking really paranoid. We were on acid. And the guard came, and he's like, "What the fuck are you guys still doing up?" I'm like, "We couldn't talk. We were talking about a shipment of meat coming in or some bullshit." Because we all worked in the kitchen. So, except the librarian. So, I don't know what happened. And at one point, the librarian goes, "I got to go to the bathroom." He disappeared for a half hour. We just lost him. And Torrey Powell's, the Crip, looked at me and goes, "How fucking crazy are we? We're doing acid with a guy that stabbed his wife to death, the mailman, He goes, I'll never forget this. That was my Buffalo
That's
story.
so fucking wild because you're right. Like a murderer on acid could have like a moment. Yeah.
He could just snap. And he was like he was a sweetheart. There was no mental health issues. He was a genius. He was very smart.
He was
I
just
learned
like
a
ice in
lot
his
from
veins.
him. You know, I remember I was like the house lawyer, and he did all my work.
Oh, he did all the paperwork and
Because
shit.
he just did it out of doing it.
Oh, that's cool.
Like just to help me because he was that smart. He was initiative. He was just he read that New York Times front to back every day. You know, it's just Buffalo has always been just so fucking. I have such a connection to Buffalo that it's like my connection to Jersey. I met a girl from Buffalo. And I started going to Buffalo, and I fell in love with the city. And they told me the history of the city. You know, Fisher Price left, and all these companies left, and they were left with their dick in their hand.
You were probably there in the 90s when it was like real shitty. Everyone was moving to fucking Charlotte and shit.
I was there in 84.
Okay. So you saw the downturn like the whole way through.
I was there in 84, 85, 86. We would go. It was a family thing. And they were tremendous. They were Polish.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of that.
the fucking food was just sensational. And I remember telling somebody once, like, I'm going to Buffalo to do comedy. Like, that's the asshole of the world. And I actually really, really got insulted. Like, you don't know Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, unless you've been to Buffalo, you know, when you go to fucking Wegmans and you look
crazy.
at, like, Lee wouldn't come back.
You
Like,
really
I know
would.
Lee. I know Lee.
live at Wegmans?
I dated a girl from Rochester, and she told me about Wegmans, and
You would live inside Wegmans for sure.
Lee, you just would not. I remember I go back to Buffalo with Rob Lederman
Yep.
when he paid nothing and it was a nightmare of a club.
Yeah.
And then I went back when there was a Funny Bone there.
In the mall.
And that was sensational.
That was cool.
That was the first club in the country that was doing blue shows.
Oh, no shit.
Friday nights, and Canadians would come over.
Yeah, they love coming over for
And it
sure.
was sold out no matter who it was. True Blue on Friday nights at 11.
Wow.
So it was like 7, 9, and 11.
I was like a little kid back
And
when that was
the owners, it was a great club because it was across the street from Wegmans.
the Wegmans. Yeah, yeah.
And the condo was 50 feet away.
Right.
So you'd cross the street and they'd have these fucking fresh wings. And I'm not talking about these California HIV wings that you bite into them and they've been glued together.
Yeah.
And it's brown meat. I'm talking about you bite into a drumstick wing. Like you're eating steroids and you don't give a fuck.
I can't wait to go to Buffalo and try wings.
Why can't they have wings everywhere? I don't understand. It's 2020. Why don't we
I
got wings
get-
everywhere?
You know, I made a statement on Rogan years ago and some people took it the right way and some people took it the wrong way. Listen, there's 1,000. I was watching Dives, Drives, and Automobiles. And there's a place over here in Glendale. I went there a few times for Cuban food. I don't know, guys. I got Viagra 3 weeks ago. I still haven't taken it. I'm a traditional type of dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I really am. You know, I haven't whacked off in 3 fucking weeks.
Wow.
And I'm because I can't get a hard on. It's ever since I hurt my hamstring. I mean, the dick gets kind of hard, but it's like a cocaine type.
Yeah,
dick.
no.
You gotta. So until these squats are back up to 300, that's when I get that blood back into that area.
Right.
I'll be ready to squirt some fucking yum juice on mama.
But you don't want to try it? You don't want to fuck with the Viagra at all?
No, I'm petrified.
Yeah.
I'm petrified.
What are you worried about happening?
A heart attack or something.
I see, yeah.
You know, but they said Viagra was invented for your heart. So, but
As long as you're not mixing it with Coke and shit.
no, I'm not.
That's
doing-
usually,
I'm
that's
not-
how like Weiland died and all those guys.
Yeah, I'm not doing dick. So
Yeah,
that's what scares me.
So you're a traditional guy with the wings.
I'm a traditional dude. I'm a traditional dude with anything. I give everybody their respect. I'm not going to put ranch on fucking sour cream
Never.
pierogies. I'm not going to put ranch on pizza. I don't put pineapple on pizza. Pizza was not made to have pineapple on it. This is something that we've created. You know, Taco Bell invents shit by the day. Chalupa. Even Mexicans
make
scratch
words up.
their heads and go, what's a fucking chalupa? So the more you feed into this, the more they're going to keep creating.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I appreciate different things. I really do. I appreciate you trying and your efforts, but guess what? I don't want your fusion fucking Chinese. I want the original stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I go to Buffalo, I go to the hotel room, dog. I swear to God, whatever hotel I go to the room, I put my shit down, I roll the fucking joint. While it's drying, I go on Uber, and I see what it's going to cost me to go to Dubs. And it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. They opened another one.
I don't care if they open.
Downtown.
It's $66. I call the feature, and I go be downstairs in 5 minutes. I Uber, and I go right to Dubs. And, you know, it used to be the Anchor Bar. I think I went to the Anchor Bar once. It wasn't for me.
Duff's is way better.
Duff's is way better. Anchor was where it was started and where they use blue cheese. You know, Buffalo doesn't have... You know, Buffalo has been getting fucked in the ass for 2,000 years. Mainly the Major League Baseball.
Really?
Buffalo Bisons have been the number one attendance. I don't know if it's still alive today.
I mean, we still crush it on occasion, but they've turned teams over so many times since the 90s that it's like the product on the field was shitty for like 10 years, like when we were the Mets affiliate and shit. But back when we were the Pirates and the Indians and shit, we were crushing it. Because
the attendance was number one for minor league baseball since the 50s.
Wow.
And they went out there, I don't know what year it was, maybe 90-something. They were thinking of expanding, but they went out there on April 1st, and they were walking on a fucking 4 feet of snow in the outfield. And they were like, we can't have baseball here. Right. Well, it's 2020, and I know you've made innovations with domes.
Yeah.
I know you've made innovations
Not only that,
domes.
If climate change is real, that shit's going to be dried up by the time
the thing
fucking
about
build
climate change is that climate change is real.
No, I know.
And if Buffalo used to get 4 feet of snow,
it's definitely affecting
on a regular. I could see them getting 10 feet, 12 feet the next couple
I was going to say, were you there when they got 11 feet one year?
Yeah, that was in 2015, and it was like in a narrow area of the city because it was just like this, they called it a knife storm. It came over the lake, and it was like this couple mile wide area of the city, just narrow, that had 11 feet of snow in it.
It was during football season.
But then also
in playing like Tennessee or something.
Yeah, we had to move the game to like an away game. But like the craziest part though is that in January, so many times in recent years, there's like a 70-degree day all of a sudden. So that's where I see like, I'm like, this isn't something that I remember as a little kid. You know, like having stretches of days in the 60s and 70s and January, that's fucked up. And then in March, you know, shit's off the wall. In April, like you said, there's still snow. Sometimes there's snow as late as May. You know? It's crazy. It's all over the map.
You born and raised in Buffalo?
Yeah, I lived there until I moved here, basically, 31.
Parents, where are the parents from?
My dad is born in Egypt, and his mother and him moved to Buffalo when he was 17. But he's Greek. He was a Greek guy living in Egypt.
He's a Greek and fucking Egyptian.
Yeah.
Did I bring the other joint up with me? Tell me I left them in the car. What type of fucking host am I? Anyway, I'm going to move to smoke another joint. You get me?
I can go get it if you want me to go. I'm a fast man, is all I'm saying. I can run.
You sure?
Know? Yeah.
It's in a bag in the front seat.
On the passenger side?
On the passenger side, right in the front seat. There's a bag. There's 3 other 8s in there.
Okay.
Just bring the whole bag.
Okay.
Fuck it. Let's get that. It's a white Subaru.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a fucking scholar. No, I've been going to Buffalo for a long fucking time. A lot of people didn't know that they were. So now they should have a Buffalo, you know.
Well, they have Toronto, and they have a dome, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they should have like a big, now with the technologies and everything that they have, Buffalo is ready for a fucking baseball team. The only reason why I don't know what the fuck's going on. That was 12 years ago. Don't quote me on this. Just go to Wikipedia and look it up and see when the last time Major League Baseball. When I was a kid, Buffalo had the Bills, and they also had the Buffalo Braves and the Sabres.
They still have the Sabres.
And then they had the Buffalo Braves as a basketball team.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Randy Johnson. They had a great fucking team for a while as a kid. Not like championship level team, but the basketball team leaving, Fisher Price leaving, all these other corporations leaving really, really left. When all those corporations left in the fucking 70s, whether it was Fisher Price, Buffalo Braves, right, the basketball team with Randy Smith on it and shit. It was like one bad fucking hit after the other for Buffalo. So the economy really went down for years.
There was a giant factory that manufactured like cars and parts and stuff, closed down, and like that was like 30% of the jobs or something in the city.
Jesus.
It was crazy.
It really did.
Bethlehem Steel shut down.
It was really sad. And I remember being in Buffalo doing, and you always see it, I always say hello to Rod when I go up.
Yeah, Rob, yeah.
And I'll
He used to work on the other radio station.
I'm going to
for
tell
me.
you why.
No, yeah, of course.
Rob.
He featured you, right?
Rob had a reputation of being like a bad guy or whatever. Like I remember getting a call and going, when you go up there, be careful with him. He's kind of weird and stuff. And I was always very respectful, even as a feature act, until you disrespected me. And then either I was just going to tell you to go fuck yourself, or we were going to box it out, or whatever the fuck was going to happen, you know? Mm-hmm. And Rob's week started on a Wednesday. And that Tuesday night, I was part of the Toyota Comedy Festival. And that's the night when that prick put me up after the salsa band.
Oh, Jesus.
But something did good happen, that I got an audition for The Sopranos from doing that thing. So I had to meet her the next day at 11 o'clock. My bus to Buffalo was at 12 from Port Authority. So I met her, got in a cab, shot to Port Authority, took the 8-hour bus to Buffalo, got
That's
there,
a bus ride.
did the Wednesday night, and they called Wednesday night and said, we need you back in New York Thursday at 10. So I basically had to hop on a red-eye bus, fucking sleep at Port Authority, wash my face, and at 10, go to a producer's session of The Sopranos, and then catch that same bus I caught the day before at 12.
Go back.
Get back there at 7:30, jump in the shower, go right and do the show.
Oh, my God.
And Rob helped me get the sides. Rob helped me audition.
Oh, that's great.
And I can't forget that. He paid me $450 for a week. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, him and I had like a tough introduction because we worked on, we worked in the same building, but they were competing shows, you know? And I was the comedian on this show, and he was the comedian on that show, and he obviously was a comic for 20-some years and shit.
Roommate.
Yeah, he's been a comic for a million years.
He's
yeah,
got a real resume.
of course. Yeah,
The thing about Rob Lederman is that he's not like a fake club owner.
right.
Rob Lederman came out here, gave it a shot, and figured a better way out for himself.
Right.
And I'm never mad at somebody.
Not at all.
If Lee comes to me tomorrow and he goes, hey, man, I got to talk to you about something. Some guy in Worcester is opening up a radio station. And he offered me a good job. Not big money, but my mother's getting older. Mm-hmm. And I'm open micing it.
Yeah.
I could go to Boulder, do the radio show, because Rob Lederman invented that whole move.
Yeah, I mean, he was making big money.
Lee, and not going anywhere.
Well,
That's success in
that's
my
how you
world.
started, Josh, right?
Yeah.
Well, mine was the other way around, kind of. Like, Rob came out here, he was doing the road, he was like a headliner, and he was a part of the big boom at that time, the 80s boom. And then he got an offer to be on this morning show that was a heritage morning show, and it was, at the time, probably huge money. I mean, it probably was, like, insane. And so he took that, and he also, like, ran a business, and then he opened a club, Comics Cafe, what was it called?
Comics Cafe.
Yeah. And he started running the club out there and was still doing local sets, and he ran the whole fire hall circuit. That's why my introduction to Rob was like tenuous at first because I was trying to get into the game. You know what I mean? I was trying to get sets. I was trying to get shows. And Rob's like, you know, you're new or whatever. So I got it at some point. Like, it took a couple years, but I got where he was coming from. And we made amends. And I just did his show the other day, like, of calling on it. But, yeah, so, I mean, we're totally cool, you know, nowadays. But there was a couple years there where I didn't think we were cool.
Yeah, I never forgot that solid he did for me. Now, when I met you, you worked where the first time?
Now, see, that's the thing. When I met you, I moved to do radio in Cleveland for 8 months.
What got you into Cleveland? Now, were you already doing stand-up?
Mm-mm.
You were just doing radio?
No, I was doing both.
Okay. When did you start stand-up?
I started stand-up in 2008.
Where?
In Buffalo.
Okay.
So I started radio.
Nothing was there then?
No, it was a bar. That Nietzsche's bar?
Yeah.
That was our whole world. Tuesday nights there. That was everything. And you had come to do a show later on in life at that bar.
With Ari?
No. That was at the town ballroom. That's where I met you, yeah. But then you remember when you came back, you came alone and did that bar for the lesbian comic?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when I met you, I had just moved to Cleveland to start that radio show. And I was gone maybe like 3 weeks when we did that gig at the town ballroom, it was called. It was a theater, a rock club. Me, you, and Ari, yeah. And then I went to do that radio show in Cleveland, and there was a Rob Lederman that I worked for there, so to speak, a comic named Chuck Booms. Do you know who that name is?
No, sir.
He used to work with Bud Freeman. He used to close out A&E at the Improv, so he had credits. He was around. But working with this guy was a nightmare. Like, this guy was such a piece of shit, and I was like, I can't work with this guy. And my old show actually offered me a job to come back with like more money and stuff. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go back. And I thought that was it for me. I'm like, I'm just going to die on this radio station or whatever. I'm just going to work here forever. And I did that for about 5 more years before I came out here. So, however many years.
When you were in Buffalo,
yeah,
you got the luck that Helium opened.
That saved my life.
And that
yeah.
saved your life.
Exactly.
Buffalo needed a comedy room in a desperate way. And Buffalo supports comedy.
It does.
Like, they fucking support comedy. So,
How big is Buffalo? Is it like a medium-sized city, small?
In terms of media markets, it's number like 53 or something like that. So it's a mid-sized market in terms of media. I don't know what that translates to in other ways, but you know, it's decent size. I love Buffalo so much, and I wish I could do more there. I kind of like hit the ceiling, you know, obviously.
you remember when I got into the fight with the radio guy?
Yes. that's the show Rob worked on, right? Wasn't that the same one, or was that?
No, I got into a fight. It was Portland or Buffalo, Helium.
Okay.
I went in and I said something about if your kid, the guy's like, well, my kid's been getting bullied and I don't know what to do. I go, your kid gets bullied, you give him some boxing gloves and you teach him how to box. And at the break, the guys took his earphones off. Like, how dare you say that to me? And I go, that's the truth. Well, unless you want to raise a fucking half a fruitcake. So when we went on the air, he kept the conversation going, like how you would raise a child that would hate to be your child. And I'm like, punk, your child's the one that's getting bullied. And say one more word and I'll climb across. Oh, we went at it.
That's wild. I don't think that was in Buffalo.
And then we went back and forth on Facebook for like an hour. Go
That's
fuck
hilarious.
yourself, you fucking punk. And then people started to hate them.
Oh my
You
God.
fucking asshole. It was tremendous.
That's
He called the
hilarious.
club later. And then when I went back, the club was like, yeah, he doesn't ever want a comedian again.
Oh, no.
That's wild. That wasn't Buffalo. I don't think I would have definitely heard about that. But I can't believe you remember that first gig we did with Ari. That was like, I knew you'd remember me obviously from the weekends we did, but I didn't know you'd remember that far back because that was like, I remember you had that banana bread and shit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I ate like so fucking much of it that I just had a great time. It was like the best comedy experience of my life at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was 3 years in or something like that. I couldn't believe I got that hosting gig. And I had just moved to Cleveland and I hated it. And I was like, I got to get back to, what am I doing? Why did I leave? You know?
Fuck. Yeah,
You know, it's crazy that I owe Buffalo something. You know, when you become a comic and you're young, there's a couple cities after you start rocking that you just want to hit for the tradition of the city. Like I wanted to go to Houston out of respect for Bill Hicks. I wanted to go to Boston out of respect for all the great comics that have been in Boston. I wanted to go to, there was just little places that I needed to go. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, because they were my favorite basketball team. Buffalo, I went to just with a girl, and I kept going. And then later on, years later, I became a comic. And then Rob Lederman threw me a fucking curveball. I was, I'm not going to lie to anybody. I'm a regular at the Comedy Store. Been there about 2 years. I'm bombing 75% of the time, but not as bad as I was. I had a pilot under my belt for CBS. And I think I had just done Mad. No, Mad TV would have had I had nothing. I did a Taco Bell commercial. I go to Buffalo, because I went to Buffalo a couple times. So I go for Rob Lederman the first time. Mm-hmm. And then the second time I go back for Rob Lederman again, but that time we have a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about a big, big, big problem. It's not drugs.
Nope.
It's not alcohol. It's a problem.
I already know what you're going to say.
It's a comic. It's a problem it's a comic's nightmare. And a comic doesn't know till he gets there. And it's called when your local sports team is in the playoffs.
I knew right away.
When your local sports team is in the playoffs, there's 3 types of bars. There's, Buffalo Wild Wings with a bunch of jerk-offs jumping up and down. Nobody bet $1 on the game. Mm-hmm. Then there's that medium one where they have a little bit more money and they all have jerseys on, and one side is sitting on the other side, and it's very fucking, if you got a machine gun and shot them all, nobody would miss them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's these elite people that are missing teeth that this is their life.
Mm-hmm. And that's the whole city of Buffalo.
They wake up and read the reports of who got drafted.
Yeah.
They do. This is their life. Denver, I love you to death. Jesus, I love Jesus. But if you make a comeback, don't make it during a Bronco game, because ain't nobody going to be there.
I mean, yeah, you're describing me. That's exactly, I'm the same way. It's in my blood.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
I can't lie to you. I do a Wednesday night. I have a pretty decent set. And this is where a lot of things progress for me. This is where everything started for me. If I look back, I have to think about Buffalo. I get there Thursday, and Rob goes, "We have a problem tonight." It's game 5. They're getting angry and angrier.
What year was this, may I ask? Do you know?
I do not know.
It must have been like 2001, 2002, maybe? Around
there, because I was having problems here, like as a comic. Anytime earlier before that, see what year the Buffalo
Sabres.
Oh, I can help you out with all that. There was a string of years though between 98 and 04. We went every year to the playoffs.
Okay, so
we went to the Stanley Cup in 99. And
there you go. So
it was 99?
99.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was the year we went to the actual cup. Okay, yeah.
I don't know dick about dick. I'm trying to snort coke and get my dick sucked, and trying to get my Me Too resume fucking in order, right? Whatever. You're out there on the road. You're a young kid. Women are talking to you after shows. Whatever. I want people to understand that these are all fucking jokes, and we'll get to the situation later. But I'm out there. I'm just learning the ropes. I'm a feature act. I'm opening for anybody. And
do you remember who it was that weekend?
The dirtiest guy in Buffalo, with glasses, older guy.
The dirtiest guy. John Valby.
What is it?
John Valby?
Not the hypnotist, dude.
No, John Valby was the singer. This guy who played the piano.
This guy's a little off color.
Okay.
Yoda used him a lot. Off color dude. Couldn't work a lot of clubs. Solid. Understood where I was coming from, and I knew where he was coming from. So I get there, and he goes, "This is going to be the deal. We're going to put the MC up, and then it's going to be halftime, and we're gonna put you up, and then you go eat, and then they're gonna do another 2 quarters, and then Fucko's gonna go up.
So they show the show. They show the game at the.
So you're doing shit between periods.
So the comedy show was gonna be put on while the Sabre game was
because there's no way that people would tolerate just
You're not
watching the
going to
show.
turn the Sabre game off.
Dude, I just said that I was in Boston at Laugh Boston, my first headlining weekend of my life at Laugh Boston, and they put the fucking Patriots wildcard game the same night as like, you know, it's at 8:15 on Saturday night. I'm like, oh great, no, the shows are going to get canceled.
Done.
I still sold like almost 150 tickets that night, and it was like, what? I was like even more mad at fucking Patriot fans because I was like, they wouldn't even have those shows in Buffalo. If they said 8:15 Saturday night show in Buffalo on a fucking wild card playoff game, that show's canceled. There's no shot that they would fucking put a game on. When Brad, I did a New Year's Eve with Brad Williams the night that we broke the playoff drought, and the game went long in 7:30 show, and the game went long, and then we won the game, and that wasn't enough. We had to watch the Bengals-Ravens game, the end of that, on the giant screen, because if the Bengals won, we make the playoffs. So they waited even more, like an extra half hour for that, because people were going to never leave the bar if they didn't put it on in the showroom. So people would sit down like fuck, because they're fucking animals. They need to like be herded into the showroom to just be like, at least they'll be in their seats. So when the game's over, we can start the show.
I don't hate the Bills. It's not like the Yankees for me, but I don't like the Bills.
Right.
But I respect teams like that. I respect.
There's no reason for you to hate us because you've been destroying us for 20
Well, it's about
years.
to end. It's about to end.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
I'm trying to think what you learn.
I'm saying I respect.
I'm trying to be Johnny fanboy over here. What I'm trying to tell you is that I went up during halftime, and I think they were down.
Oh, okay.
They were down.
And so people were in a shitty mood.
And I'll never forget that I went up there thinking I was going to be the Captain Kirk of the Enterprise, and it was the longest 25 minutes of my life. I mean, guys, it was just think of getting punched in the face for 25 minutes.
I can't even imagine that. It was the Dallas Stars Series 2, Game 5.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to walk off and get fired. He's going to call Yoda. This is the end of my Yoda career.
That's big, too.
You know, this is, when you're a feature act and you're making $400 or $500 a week, Yoda keeps you in pork chops. And I walked off, and a couple people clapped, and a couple people said, thank God. And I remember wanting to kill myself, but Liederman came up to me and said, good job, man. You didn't get anything thrown at you.
Yeah. I was going to just say, it's like, they didn't leave. Yeah.
You did a great job. Yeah. I go, are you fucking nuts? I feel like death right now. He goes, hey, could have been worse. You could have been getting stitched up right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They didn't laugh because they couldn't laugh in those moments, but they were polite about it.
They
at
were
least,
polite
because they enjoyed you.
And
Yeah.
right away, now let's go back to 10 years later, and me watching Bill Burr in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You follow me, and I'm like, oh, thank God somebody else went through that. 'Cause, like, I was getting a couple boos and.
Did they keep the TV on behind you on mute? Because I would worry about that. Like,
they're very polite.
Am I missing the game?
Yeah, they mute
kept
the
it on mute.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Mute. They don't fucking mute anything.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, when I started comedy, the Sabres had just, like, I remember the first couple years, I'd be so pissed at the Sabres because, you have your sets during the week, and you're like, no one's going to fucking come. There's a fucking game tonight. And then finally, like, the Sabres had 10 years of sucking, and they just became people are like, well, I'll go do something else. I'm not going to watch the Sabres. The Sabres, like, sucked so long recently that it's weighing down a little bit. They still sell out games, but I mean, like, people aren't watching them feverishly every fucking night,
Like, I could see myself, if it wasn't for the winters, moving my family to Buffalo.
It's a great place for a family. It really is.
Well, I like the state of mind in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I met a lot of good people from Buffalo. I mean, when I went to Boulder, the people I ran with were Buffalo people.
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy would have Monday night football parties whenever Buffalo was gone, and you go over there. Dog, this is how you're going to know. His mother would overnight wick.
Beef on weck.
No, not the beef. He would cook the beef himself.
The Kimmelwick rolls?
She would overnight the Kimmelwick rolls.
Nice.
I mean, these guys were in.
Yeah.
And while they were watching the game, they would put the helmets on. And I still remember one Monday night where the kid kept jumping.
Oh, wow.
And he told them, don't jump. And the kid jumped and cracked his head open. They had an ice pack on the kid's head. Kid's bleeding. And the father's like, we're not going. Next time, don't jump. You're not going to the hospital till after the Bills game.
Yeah.
And the kid sat there with the ice pack and a towel. The mom was crying, pleading. Fuck him.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
this is something
That's stupid. The kid was dumb. He should have waited the fourth quarter to bang
to bang his head there. But all these experiences take me back to Buffalo, so I can't imagine. Like, when did you, at the radio, was there a point at the radio station? Just because there's people in life that are stuck, man.
Dude, I worked there for 15 years almost. I started working there when I was 16, so I didn't know anything else, you know? And I except for that time that I went to Cleveland, you know? And I didn't know that. I was like, this is going to be my life. But then the jobs just started disappearing. There was no upward place to go. It went away. At first, it looked like when you first started at 16, it was 2004 or some shit. And I was like, the sky's the limit. I could be Howard Stern someday. But then, you started seeing like the nuts and bolts of this thing and it's going away or whatever. And like the jobs are getting paid less, etc. So I just was like, and I thought comedy would be like my second thing for a while. Do you know what I mean? Like until I was 22, then I was like, no, this has to flip around. And radio is the secondary thing because it's not taking me anywhere. Comedy's taking me places already, So out of the gate, I'm doing things that I've never dreamed of doing. So it flipped at like 22 and I did stand up that's when I started really doing it, Yeah,
because the last time I saw you were really working the helium rotation.
Yeah.
I mean, you were really in the rotation. They had you going to Philly, I think.
I never went to Philly. They only had me going between St. Louis and Buffalo, honestly. They never sent me the other ones.
And then you worked with me in St. Louis.
Yep.
And
that third weekend it opened.
That was, listen, you've all heard me fart on different platforms. I'm not going to sit here with a fart like a soldier. I'm too old. And whatever comes out, so be it. And if you're sitting close to me, that's life. It happens. I've inhaled a couple great farts myself. I've inhaled some bad ones. What are we talking about? Farting.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis, I got on stage that Thursday night. And I'm on stage, Lee, and I'm just smelling fart after fart after fart. Now, I don't care, because I do the same thing. Once you're on a fart roll, why stop? But it was in that area. And I kept looking at each of them, trying to figure out who was dropping these bombs. Like, they were bombs.
Like, you could tell where they were coming from.
I'm like, Jesus. So, boom, fuck it. Friday night, I go up there for the first show, and I'm smelling fucking bombs again. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's like every 15 minutes.
Just a new one. Yeah, boom, it's like refreshing.
Boom. And then Friday night, I smelt it. I couldn't figure out. It was in my nose. I went there Saturday. And Saturday, I started walking people. People were walking Saturday early.
From the smell? Yeah, that's right.
I thought it was me.
Yeah.
Your heart breaks on stage.
That's right, yeah. I remember.
Get up. And next thing you know, fucking afterward, I go, bro, what the fuck? And they're like, every time you flush the toilet upstairs, they didn't know that when they rented the place. So it's like...
There was like construction going on or something too, and so it was like all the plumbing was all fucked up. There was like something that kept backing up, but it's in a mall, like a new edition of a mall at the time. So they're doing all this new shit and everything. And so, yeah, every time someone flushed the toilet, we'd get like a out a vent or some shit, you know, like right into the showroom.
Oh, no.
How are you adjusting to LA so far?
I like it. I mean, I'm keeping my head clean and I'm working hard, you know.
Where are you living?
I live in East Hollywood. You know, I miss Buffalo in a lot of ways, but also there those same things I go like, I need to do something else too, you know what I mean? I got to see something else and live somewhere else, experience new things. And so I love it living here so far. The sun's nice, you know. It's I don't drive anymore. I sold my car when I moved here, and I just said I'm not driving when I go to LA, and it's been easier than I ever expected, and it's kind of a weight lifted off me. I don't know if you remember, I had like all these like fucking driving mishaps and like arrests and shit like that from driving, because I was driving all over the place, and I kept getting tickets here and there, and I was poor, so I wouldn't pay this one, or I would like let it lapse or whatever. So driving was always dicey for me. It gave me like terrible anxiety. And so I'm happy that I don't have to do that anymore. Plus I'm going blind, so I probably shouldn't drive anyway. You know?
How's your eyesight now?
So far so good. It's kick staying in there, you know. I probably should get new glasses soon, but other than that, it's been it's fine, you know. I'm blind in this eye, but other than that, I still got this one going.
Is it a degenerative disease?
It is, yeah, but I've done things to slow it down.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sure when I'm like middle-aged or whatever, when people's eyes start going again, I'm probably going to have like some hiccups, but hopefully whatever's in place there is good enough to withstand some of that, you know?
I mean, they tell you all this shit about fucking reefer. That if you smoke, remember, that was the first excuse.
Yeah. Well, God, that's why I smoke a ton of it, just to be sure.
And I smoke reefer all the time. I can't wait for that doctor to tell me I have glaucoma. I'm going to smack him so hard. Like, I've been preparing for glaucoma since I was like 18. So I would never fucking have it.
No, the glaucoma's not the one that everyone gets like a cataract at some point, I feel like, you know? I have one I don't even bother taking out of it, because it's like I can't see out of that fucking eye anyway, so who gives a shit? Cataract anyway, you know? But yeah, I mean, that St. Louis weekend, I remember it was the Super Bowl too. And I remember being like, oh, the Super Bowl's tomorrow. Me and the MC were going to drive 12 hours after that show on Saturday night. So we dropped you off, and then we just drove to Buffalo after that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, where'd you drop me off? The airport?
That hotel. Because we went that night, like it was like the late show Saturday, and then we just drove home after the late show. And because I remember, I was like, oh, I'm so, because they were like,
that's right, you and the manager or something.
Me and Kyle, the MC, Kyle Turner.
MC. So you guys got in the car after the show, and I remember telling you to stop after like 5 hours.
Yeah. I drove straight. He fell asleep like right away. He's like, I'll sleep now, and then I'll wake up and drive the second half, so we can get home by like 1 o'clock, take a nap, watch the Super Bowl. And he ended up waking up at like 9 a.m. and I'm like, I'm good, dude. I'll just finish it. And I did. I just drove because I wanted to see that Super Bowl.
Well, wasn't there a time you were telling me when we first met that like there was a time you like went back and forth from Cleveland to Buffalo?
Oh, when I lived there, and when I did those shows like with you, I had all these shows lined up before I moved, because it was like the whole thing of me getting that job offer to me moving was 7 days. I had to decide if I want to go, and I had to be there in 7 days to like launch the show. So it was all very quick, and I had all these shows booked in Buffalo, including the one I did with you. And so I had my apartment in Buffalo still, and then I was just sleeping in my Jeep in Cleveland, and then like waking up and like taking a shower at like the gym, and then going into work at 3 a.m. to do morning radio, and then driving back like on the weekends to sleep in my apartment in Buffalo and like do the shows basically. So yeah, that was like, I think I drove from Cleveland to Buffalo the morning of that show, and then slept in my apartment that just had a mattress in it, and then woke up with my cousin and drove back to Cleveland. And just went back to like work.
People really never know. And if you look back at those times, you're like, was I fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like, what would make you drive and sleep in your fucking car? It's a love.
Yeah.
It's a passion. What would make it okay. Like if you went to the normal college educated person and told that to, what would they say to you?
It makes me sad that some people don't have that at all. There's nothing they would do that for, you know? There's a lot of people in the world that have nothing that makes them feel that way. That makes me kind of sad for them. But they probably think I'm crazy for saying that.
But it was really weird because before the age of 28, nothing was worth living and dying for. And somehow or another I got locked up and I ended up, getting exposed to more comedy and seeing Dice, and then I'm like, I want to do stand-up. What are we talking about?
Living and dying for something.
Yeah, like sleeping in your car and shit.
I went from loving cocaine. Like that was my only passion. Like I liked sex, I liked girls, I liked Szechuan beef, I liked pork egg rolls, But there was nothing everything was like I liked music, I loved music, but I loved cocaine. Comedy swept me off my feet. And it was like, at first, listen, it's like anything else. You're making $320 a week. Let's say you're making $350 a week. That you're clearing $1,400 a month. You got your apartment, you got your car payment, you got food, and you put away $200 a month if you're lucky. You're not living at the Taj Mahal. You're living in a basement. From time to time, you catch a rat, shit like that. I come to you and I go, listen, I want you to come work for me. The only problem is a straight commission. This happens in life. But I go, my regular guys, I got a guy that's a half a retard, and he walks out of here with 2 G's a week. Can you imagine what you would do? I mean, the first week you're fucking skeptical as fuck.
Yeah.
You're petrified. You're losing money by the hour. But then it's like by Wednesday, you get like 300. You're like, okay, so I made what I made last week. Thursday, Friday, you take a chance. The first week you make 800. You're like, okay. Then you make 1,000 the second week. Then now you're actually making $2,000 consistently. Are you going to fall in love with that job?
No.
Yes, you are.
Well, yeah. I was like, do you love doing it? I don't know.
I was giving you 300 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I gave you 800 a week. And all of a sudden, now you're making 1,200 a week. So you're making 4,800 a month.
Mm.
You have a wife and a kid.
Oh, okay.
Your wife is in shock because you've been an idiot all your life. What are you doing? Well, I'm selling plumbing supplies on the phone. So what do you do now? You go to the library if you're a fucking normal person and you find out the in and outs of selling. Because it seems like sales is in your future because you were making $350 at the fucking video store. Now you're doing this. You're getting better every month. So now you read about sales to know the psychology about sales.
Sure.
And now you're all in. Now you just took your family from a fucking one tax bracket to the other and you rose them again because you got into what you were doing. And you're going to have bad months. There's going to be a month that you just don't, nobody wants to buy fucking glasses.
Yeah.
So you're fucked. Same thing as with comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as with anything else you get into. You're always skeptical at first. Then you get a little bit of success. And now you go, if I got a little bit of success with that shitty effort,
mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if I fucking jumped into head first into this thing?
Yeah.
And that's when you see the results of everything. And that's when I got a gig for you in Buffalo. And you're like, I'll take it. But you didn't call Trailways before you fucking left.
Yeah.
And there's a 4-hour delay in Albany from 2:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the morning. Good luck.
Yeah.
And they closed the bus station. And there's nothing to eat for 3 miles. And when there is a fucking Popeye's chicken, but there ain't no fucking savory characters hanging out there. And on top of that, all you have is $6 anyway to get you to Buffalo.
Hell yeah.
You're going to get to the fucking condo. Hopefully there'll be fucking the comic before left cereal in there. And then when you go in that night, you'll get a draw after your first show to make the following week.
Yep.
That takes love.
Yeah.
That takes love. That takes.
I was like smiling when you were describing that versus the sales thing. The sales thing, I'm like, ugh, no, I don't want that job.
No. But I'm letting people know at home.
Of course, I'm
comparing it to apples and peaches here.
Of course,
it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
But like the thing for me, and I love doing stand up. I
keep talking. I just gotta.
Sure.
I'm nowhere near you guys, but I can't imagine like sleeping in my car one night a month or one night a week because I'm on the road in between like San Francisco and LA. I could do that. But there's people who like I couldn't imagine living in my car on a regular basis.
Well, it wasn't for me. I was lucky. I mean, it wasn't a regular basis. It was like probably a couple weeks here and there.
Okay,
because I just didn't have an apartment there, and I couldn't afford to have a hotel every night. So I would just, I worked in an office and I got a gym membership, and I just would shower at the gym, and then I had a cool car, a big enough car that it didn't even matter. And then also my father, at the time, was working for a business, like he worked for a restaurant inside of a hotel chain, kind of thing. I won't say which one, but then like he would get me like a discount on a room, so I'd have one like here and there.
Okay, yeah, and
but like it would be like for like 3 weeks. It was like 3 weeks, I guess, like because I also couldn't just afford to buy another apartment out of nowhere yet. You know what I mean? I had one in Buffalo. But yeah, so it wasn't like I was living in my car for like a 6 months time or something like that, or like a year. But,
okay. I mean, it's still tough.
But it was that stretch, yeah. And then, I mean, when I lived in Cleveland, when I found an apartment, I just like slept on. I just was like, I never really moved into it. I just kind of slept on the ground. And
right, because like I've had my first couple experiences with condos in the last few months, and there's nothing fancy, but I could do it. It's not how I would like to live, but I could do it. But the idea
condo,
of being homeless,
I don't understand. Maybe because I came up in comedy in this past decade, the condo situations have never been unsafe. There's never been a condo that I've been in where I've been like, this is worse than my apartment, because I've just lived, I guess, in squalor myself. So I've always gone into the condos going like, what's everyone complaining about? Like this is kind of nice. Yeah, so I mean, like, that's the thing that, like, I'm starting to learn living in LA is, like, I'm starting to grow up a little bit more in terms of just, like, my own lifestyle choices, you know what I mean? Like, you were describing the unsavory characters at the Popeyes. I was just that guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was the unsavory character at the Popeyes.
99, it's a Monday morning. I just got paid by Rod Liederman.
Yeah.
Some staff member saved me $30 or 20 by giving me a ride to the bus station downtown.
Nice.
I'm fucking ecstatic. I don't know, wherever he dropped me off, there was a McDonald's. In those days I traveled light. I had like my bag, and then I went and I got the fucking egg sandwich with the potato and the fucking juice. That's when McDonald's used to give you a little orange juice.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, whatever that combo cost, I gave her the 20. She gives me the bag. I fucking, I'm walking back to the bus station. And to be honest with you, it's a nice day in Buffalo. The sun's out, and I'm like, if I got to sit in a bus for 7.5 hours, I might as well grab some sun. And I just finished the egg sandwich. I put the egg container in the bag, the potato holder in the bag, and I'm about to fold it. I'm sipping the Coke, because I was a fat fuck, so I get an orange juice and a Coke and 2 apple pies for $1. What the fuck, throw them in there? You're on the road.
Yeah.
You're trying to eat for $8.
Give yourself a treat.
That's a buffet.
yeah.
And I'm about to throw the thing in, and I see this black kid running towards me. I'm like, what the fuck? And he goes, yo, brother, take a look. And he had a gold chain in his hand, and you could see the the bracelets were broken, like where they were connected. And he's looking back, like he's like, man, either buy it or whatever. And I'm like, is it gold? And he goes, man, does a nigga pick cotton? Like he said something like that to me, like something fucking off color. And I go, all right. And he goes, wow, give me $50. Because it was a thick gold chain. And I was like, dog, I took out the 16 and change I had from the Mickey D's, the Fort, whatever I had.
Yeah.
I go, this is what I got. I mean, I gave him the exact, whatever that lady gave me with the receipt. You know,
From
they
the
give you
20,
that receipt.
Yeah.
And he goes, done. And he ran off. And I get in the fucking thing. I get in the car. I get in the bus. I take it to Manhattan, to Port Authority. And then the whole thing, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I got beat. This is a beat move.
Because it's not real?
It's not. I thought in my head, first place I get off the bus, I go to a fucking pawn shop. Guy weighs it. He's like, I could do 680 or something like that.
Oh my God.
I'm like, it's gold.
Holy shit.
He goes, but it's a nice chain, man. Why are you getting rid of it? I go, I don't know. He goes, for $20, I'll put brackets on it for you. And I go, go ahead. And I kept the chain for a while. And then I ended up selling it somewhere.
That's wild.
Yeah, I had
that guy just
chain.
wanted crack real bad.
He just ripped the fucking chain off somebody's neck.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Only in Buffalo.
Yeah, right? That's wild.
Only
by that bus station downtown.
They don't play.
No.
Let me tell you
I used to
something.
live over there.
I used to take the buses. I knew all that, you know. I was involved in a little romance in Syracuse.
Oh, you went up and down that bus, I did. Syracuse,
Albany.
Buffalo, the 90.
That was in Albany, had the comedy room at the bus station.
That's not the one.
This is 97.
That's not Comedy Works, right?
This is 97, guys.
They have room at the bus station?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh.
So you didn't even get a hotel? You just came in, did the show, and left?
Did they put you up? No, it was a New York comic room booked by a guy named Roger Paul.
Okay.
And it was for New York guys.
Yeah.
You took the
'Cause
train
that's a
to
quick one.
You took the train to Albany, you got off. It was the audience of hell. Missing teeth. Oh my God. You know, arrows in their head. fucking handcuff on their wrists.
Oh my God, yeah, they're waiting for the bus.
Fucking just great people here.
That New York to Buffalo bus ride is... Oh, I've done that a bunch. Mega
That
bus
whole circuit.
Yeah.
Because if you take Syracuse, Buff Syracuse, Buff Albany, Buff Rochester, there's always something. That's why I met the girl that straight up told me to my face, this is why I love listen, going on the road makes you a great comic. But you want me to tell you something? It's 30% of the reason why you go on the road. You go on the road, yes, to do drugs and to do whatever. And Lee doesn't do drugs, so he would go on the road to eat at Chinese buffets or whatever he does.
He's not wrong.
He told me about barbecue before. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking
He's going to
barbecue.
North Carolina. He's not going to get barbecue.
But it's... What were we talking about?
The road's great. You learn a lot.
The road's great.
It's only a third of it.
The other thing about the road is the people you meet and the relationships you make, and you learn about the universe. You learn about you being hungry. You know, you put yourself in all these positions as a comic to get yourself out of this hole, which you should be doing as a human being, which is going out of your comfort zone, you know. And you just get to meet the weird people, especially on a fucking bus. You know, when you, I know for a fact, without exaggeration, there was 20 times when I had to wait for the next bus, and there was a 3-hour gap, and you got $4 in your pocket, but you got a joint, you got a Walkman, you got Christina Aguilera's new fucking CD. You don't like it, but you shoplifted it at some fucking truck station. You know what I'm saying? I remember nights still like singing.
Yeah.
I'm a genie in a bottle. You know, I remember being in...
That song slaps.
Yeah. I remember being in Saginaw, Michigan, and staying in a hotel for $20 a night. And hearing people getting prostituted and walking across the street because it wouldn't be it was like a Friday Saturday and then a Friday Saturday in the same area. I got nowhere to go, so you go downtown where you rent by the room and you go to the bathroom and there's a condom on the floor because you have to share the bathroom with 19
like a boarding
people.
house.
I did it all. There's no story you could come up with.
Right.
But the best ever was when I got on the bus with this girl, and I'm like, oh my God. She sat right next to me. Like I had the window seat, and she slid next to me, and it was just me and her. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl's at fucking 12. And I just was like, I'm not going to say a word. And she's like, hi, so what's your name?
Oh my God.
Talking to me, and what do you do? What are you going to be doing? And I think I was going to Rochester. Maybe. You're going to know when I tell you. So I said to her, what are you doing? She goes, well, this has been embarrassing. She goes, I'm an exotic dancer. And I go, okay, so you're going to wherever to dance? And she goes, well, I have to be honest with you. Where I dance, they do a health inspection, and I've got a disease. I've got like VD. So the prescription won't kick in, and I'll have it for the next week. But if I go to this town, they don't check for a health license. So I can dance
that's like
for a
stripping
week.
laws, eh?
Yeah, they had like some type of stripping law. She had something that she couldn't dance because it was contagious.
Huh.
But she's like, oh, fuck that shit.
I don't know what. I wish I knew the laws.
It was either Rochester,
municipalities. It probably was Rochester.
It was between Buffalo, Rochester,
because there were those two comedy cafes, right, or two comic cafes. The one in Buffalo, and then there was that one in Rochester. That Joe T guy. Do you remember that one?
The only club I remember in Rochester was a club that was built on cocaine.
Yeah.
From the minute I walked in there, the owner had you in an attic.
I think that's what I'm talking about.
It was just, I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah.
I was a junkie, so I enjoyed being there. But to be honest with you, no, I didn't enjoy being there.
Right.
It was all over the place. It was like going to the club in Kansas City. It was like, even Miami wasn't that bad.
Wow.
Because
Rochester.
the staff was pretty light. There's clubs you go to, the whole staff's on drugs.
Yeah.
In
Most
Kansas
clubs
City, the whole staff's on drugs. The management's running around. This is their life. This is their part of their addiction.
It's part of the thing that attracted me
It's
to this.
fucking crazy.
It was.
Well, I'm happy, man, that you're out here, and I'm happy you're making moves.
I'm trying, like you say, put the pieces together.
There's something I wanted to talk to you about. You guys been radio. You were in radio for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. Listen, when I started this podcast, nobody knew what direction we were going with this thing. We just came on here. We told comedy stories. We told whatever. For me, it was opening up about my life, as being vulnerable, telling the story about mugging a hooker and lighting a wig on fire, and then, things came out. And about 4 months ago, something happened that devastated me. That was the last nail in the nail of many coffins. They fired a kid off of Saturday Night Live because something he said in episode 280 of some episode that somebody dug up.
Yeah, Shane Diaz.
And he lost his job and whatever, and everything happens for a reason. That kid will be a lot better off. He'll put it together. It ain't no prize being on Saturday Night Live. So,
Shane's so funny too. He's a great stand-up.
In the last 2 weeks, I got a message. I got a message about 6 months ago from somebody telling me something about Sin Corinne. I got introduced by Sin by another musician who knew Sin from somebody else, and Sin made the headlines this last week for sleeping with underage girls. I know that he's taken down his website. He's taken down his Facebook page, My heart goes out to the victims of this horrible thing. I have a daughter. I would never wish it for her. And my heart also goes out to Sin because God knows what he was thinking. We got to say a prayer for him. Whether they're true or not, who the fuck knows? You know, as soon as I heard the story, I thought about Paris Hilton on David Letterman, telling the story on how she remembers sneaking out of the window when she was 15 and going to discos. When you're 15 and you sneak out of a club, you're not sneaking out of a club to meet boys that are 16. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like and it all starts with the doorman. Mm-hmm. The doorman knows you're 16, but you're hot pussy to the musicians or the band or to who's ever in there. So, again, my heart goes out to both families. You know, Sin for whatever he did, that he takes care of this problem, and to the family of the girls in San Antonio or wherever else they had. If you're offended that I had Sin on, my apologies go to you, and you guys know that I don't really come up with apologies. Let's let the air clear, and then we'll get to that. Number two, something else happened last week that really got me thinking. Our friend Brad Williams, who also has a podcast, I've done the Degenerates with him. Mm-hmm. I always knew Brad was a freak. Let's not get carried away. Those little midgets, they got like 2 foot. Don't get confused. You see a midget, know that he's got a black dick. Midgets have been known for having 2 foot dicks. It's not a curse from God. It's just giving a midget. If you're a lady and you want a big dick and you don't want to cross the line and you don't want your property value to go down on your pussy, let me tell you something. Find yourself a nice looking midget, because that guy's got dick for days. He's going to be taking that snake out of his pants like a hose. You know what I'm saying? So I know Brad personally. I've heard through the grapevine he can wrap his dick around your neck and choke you with it. So don't ever feel mad for midgets. Those motherfuckers are packing heat between their legs. It's up to you.
Shit.
Whether you want those little fucked up fingers on you, squeezing your tits while that 3 foot dick is fucking you. Anyway.
Oh shit.
My point being that, you know, I don't know what happened with Brad Williams. I know he went on a podcast 6 fucking years ago and told a story about him and Carlos, and then he came up with an apology. Was I there? Do I know? I don't need to be there to know. I saw it. I saw women putting themselves in bad positions. I saw women come up to me and say, if you introduce me to such and such, I'll suck his dick. I'll suck your dick. It was a point where you feel bad for humanity. You know what I'm saying? You feel bad for humanity. You know, Brad's on the shit end of the stick right now. Again, my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to this poor girl who got fucked by a midget in the dark. Because that's got to be a fucking nightmare. You ever wake up next to somebody ugly? That's one thing. But waking up to Oopa Loopa, and all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And I love Brad. I'm on Degenerates with him. I'm worried they're going to take him more fucking Degenerates or something.
Well, I mean,
you know, I'm really worried about this. But this is just to let you know that this is why I'm open with you people. I don't give a fuck at this point in my life. Listen, if you hear something, if you didn't hear from me, it didn't happen. If that did happen, I'll tell you my side of the fucking story, just so you fucking know. As all you people know, is I'm not a Me Too. I mean, I love looking at your titties, but I'm not a Me Too. I love looking at your ass. I love women. I love you to death. I mean, last night there was a point at the Comedy Store. I had 5 beautiful women around me. And at one time, did I not think of fuck one of them? I had Felicia. I had fucking Annie Lederman. I had fucking Kate Quigley. I had the light-skinned sister waitress at the Comedy Store and that new little cute one. And we were talking about something. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean you're a Me Too'er.
Right.
It just means you're talking to people.
Well, that's comedy. That's the great thing.
The Comedy Store is my family.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I'm just... I'm happy that I was always very vulnerable with you guys from day one. When I learned that what you guys wanted to hear was truth from the heart. Like people telling you stories, people letting you know that it's okay to be human. Mm-hmm. I'm sick and tired of listening to podcasts where they're above us. Ain't nobody fucking above you
Exactly.
motherfuckers. We're all the same. And we all go through the same struggles. This guy drove 18 hours between Queens. It's weird because when you booked Buffalo in the old days, Buffalo had the funny bone. She wouldn't book you in Buffalo unless she could get you at the Cleveland Improv first. So when you called her, you got 4 weeks of work. You got Cleveland, and it was back to back. She was cool about it.
Right.
Sarah and I, the cunt that she was cool about it at that time.
I've heard that.
Sarah and I was a dirty little Asian bitch, mixed, good looking, but evil as fuck. And when she got power, she really started torturing motherfuckers. I'll never forget her. I ever see her, I'll throw 1,000 chopsticks at her. 'Cause she's a dirty bitch. I'll beat her with chopsticks. I swear to God. She was cruel. She was very mean to you. Very mean to you, Lee. Very mean.
Yeah, Lee, if you would have...
If you're a comic, what did I tell you what my pet peeve is? My pet peeve about comedians is fucking with their dream.
Right.
That's my pet peeve with a comedian. When comedians hit me up, hey, I want to be on your podcast, I don't string them along.
Right.
You're in no danger. Go jump off a bridge and get back to me. You know what I'm saying? Some guy called me a couple weeks ago. Hi, my friend was on Rogan's podcast. Do you think I could be on your podcast? Do I know you?
Jesus Christ.
I was in the Army, and yeah, but that nothing to do. I know you've been doing comedy 6 months. Why are you bothering me
Golly.
for? You know, so go back to the Army, do 10 more years of comedy, and then get back to me. What do you want from me? I can't help you out.
Yeah.
I'm working with guys up here that I see busting their asses. When I put you in that chair, it's because I know you're busting your ass.
Oh,
You're
thank
out
you.
there every night where the lead tells me, Ryan Sickler tells me, I'm listening. And then I see you, you know, I'm not putting people in here to come in here and try to pull the wool over their eye. I don't want. There's 1,000 of those people out there trying to pull the fucking wool over your
For
eye.
sure, for sure.
Thousands of people that are looking over here, looking over here, but nothing's happening.
And it's the people
And you're
that are...
buying it, and you're buying it, but they ain't doing nothing this comic.
Right.
And I know motherfuckers that leave their house at 6 o'clock, don't walk back until 1 and got to go to a job at fucking 6 a.m. in the morning. And at 5 o'clock, they eat something, they do 10 push-ups, and they're back waiting online. You know, I know a chick that does 4 open mics. The bitch can't drive because she has seizures. And she
makes it.
takes a fucking Uber everywhere.
Yeah.
Remember the other night you had to send me money for an Uber? Who do you think I was trying to help out? She didn't have money for a fucking Uber. So I said, come up to the office. I'll give you a few bucks. How can I not? You know, she called me the other day. Can you wait 2 weeks till I pay you back? I go, listen, don't worry about the fucking money. And the girl called me. She was fucking stuck.
Yeah.
Her credit card. And she's like, I don't know, you know, I don't know if you could help me. I said, hold on. Let me send an Uber for you. You're not going to. In fact, forget that. Do you have any money? She goes, I'm flat broke. I haven't eaten all day. I said, meet me at the office. I got a high. I gave her $50. In fact, I still owe you $20 for that Uber, Lee. So
Oh, shit, I forgot.
don't have
God, that's amazing.
I didn't. I remember last night.
I've been in those spots where it's like you got to call up a buddy or somebody,
We all
cousin.
been.
It's like
I did it to 20 people. So now when people call me that are comics that I see at the store, I tell people there's 1,000 people I pull aside and go, listen, you need something. You come see me. I don't want you sucking dick. I don't want you doing nothing you don't need to do. You know, if you're gonna suck a dick for 5, you'll suck my dick for 3 wholesale. I'll give you 7. No, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you gotta let these people know that they need help, man.
That's great.
That's why I'm happy the comedy store's putting funds together. I'm not saying give a comic $2,000 a month. I'm
Sure.
not here to spoil you,
No, of course.
but I'm gonna get you out of a fucking bind if I know that you're working. If you're just trying to work me for drug money,
Yeah.
In fact, last night I bought somebody drugs.
Well, that's just straight to the.
Oh, Jesus.
You can't worry about a motive
Garlic
then.
one, I give you a lot of respect. It's Martin Luther King week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I didn't want to fart you away.
What do you mean you bought someone drugs? You bought
There
someone
was
some
a
weed?
drug dealer last night that I knew for 20 years. I went up to him. I said, do you have anything? He goes, yeah. I go, Bob. I put $60 in his pocket. I go, go over there and give that girl a G-bo. And she came up to me when I got off stage and hugged me. She goes, what? Oh, my God. It was such a present.
That's wild. Everybody at the store has been like super nice too. Like I'm not.
It's a love.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Love.
You know,
last night I can't tell you. Last night I almost crashed my car driving to the store from the anxiety I had. When Ali Wong is supposed to go up at 9:15, you have a problem. That schedule ran from 9:15 to 11:30. Each of those guys, if you saw them individually, you would have to pay $35 or more.
For sure.
It went from her to Ron White to D'Elia to Anthony Jeselnik to Rogan to myself to Donnell Rawlings to Jeff Ross.
It's crazy.
That's where it went.
That's
and
crazy.
It mixed up, and I had to bring up Allie, and we started dancing on stage. Next thing you know, I was like doing like the fake spank with her, and I'm like, oh my God, Allie. So I tweeted her this morning and thanked her for coming out. You got any dates or anything coming up anywhere anybody could find?
Yeah, I'm going to be this weekend at the Dead Crow Comedy Club in Wilmington, North Carolina. And then next weekend, I'm going to be at the Comedy Connection, the 31st and the 1st in Rhode Island.
Providence.
Yeah.
You headlining?
Yep, both places.
Good for you, brother.
Thank you.
You got a website and everything?
I'm just doing it all on fucking Instagram, dude. I don't even have a website. People are finding me, though, and buying tickets and shit. So
I know that you
I got to get it. I'm just bad at money and
you have
getting
your
it
own
all together,
podcast?
putting it together. I'm just going to be doing one soon on Your Mom's House Network. I'm working on all the other ones, though. Dr. Drew, Honeydew, Your Mom's House, and going to be starting mine pretty soon as well, hopefully.
Like I told you, told Dr. Drew I'll do the podcast, but he brings up Lana Turner. I got to break his glasses.
Oh, yeah, we've mentioned it.
I'll snap his glasses in half. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for being part of a great fucking family. Don't forget, Saturday night. There's a few tickets left at Atlanta at the Tabernacle. They might be solo tickets. I don't know what the fuck they are. Do what you need to do. And February 13th, 14th, and 15th, Valentine's Day, I will be at the Tempe Improv. Tickets are going quick, and we're going to have a great time. Valentine's Day, bring a condom. And it's bring a condom night to the fucking thing. If you bring a condom, I'll give you a free edible.
Oh,
Or
Jesus.
something like that.
Ooh.
But you got to eat it with, I don't know, you got to.
You're going to come home with 800 condoms?
Yeah, you got. I don't want no condoms. I don't need condoms. It's condom night. We'll give them out to fucking junkies or ex-convicts that want to stuff things in their asshole. Anyway, I love you guys with all my heart. Real quick, let me talk to you about two of my favorite fucking companies. First of all, I can't tell you how excited I am with Butcher Block. I really
Butcher Box.
fucking was. Butcher Box. You know, I see these people on Jenny Craig eating that Maluk food and shit. But when I went to my brother-in-law's in Kentucky, I saw he had a freezer, and he would go somewhere where they would send you steaks pre-ordered. He buys them for fucking every 6 months, he said. He goes, I won't buy deeper. I buy enough to what I know. I save a little money, and I just buy a half a cow. And he gets steaks, ribeyes, a meatloaf. He gets, not a meatloaf. Cow doesn't have a meatloaf. You know, he gets
Sirloin.
He gets different parts of it. And when my agent called me about this, I went on their website and I read what they had. And I said, send me a box. And hey, the proof is in the fucking pudding. So I'm very, very impressed with Butcher Box. I mean, like I said earlier, they ship frozen and vacuum sealed food. So it arrives at your door fresh as a fucking daisy. Butcher Box is a subscription service that sends you 9 to 11 pounds of high quality, humanely raised meat every month. Do you understand me? I'm talking about free range chicken, heritage pork, wild caught salmon, or you could pick one of their curated collections and let Butcher Box do all the work for you. You can customize every order with healthy, high-quality meats like grass-fed beef. You understand me? Free-range chicken, the heritage pork. I myself had the salmon last night. It was fucking delicious. My wife made a little lemon sauce. She made some little red potatoes with it. and it rocked my fucking world. I will let you know how the steak is in a few days. I have Lee come over and pick up a few things. What I want you to do is this. Right now, just go to Butcher Box. See what they have to offer, okay? Put together a package. Give them a chance. Columbus did. Listen, this is what you get from the church. If you go through us, we're going to give you free wings, free chicken wings for the life of your subscription. That's 3 pounds of wings in every box forever. Think about that. Every month you're going to have 3 pounds of wings in there. You hire some of your neighbors to come over and cut them up. I don't like cutting up fucking wings. You fucking bread them. You get yourself a nice wok. My girlfriend from Buffalo used to wok them.
Yeah.
That's how you do them. Then you shake them up nice. But let me tell you something. Everybody likes a great wing. What are you going to do for the Super Bowl? What are you going to give out? Hummus? You fuck. I come to your Super Bowl. I hear nobody in Kansas City eats hummus. And, well, San Francisco, everybody, all those fucking have fruitcakes. But listen to me. The big game is around the corner. These savages, they're going to be tearing through your refrigerator. Forget that stuff. How you going to feed these people? With a bowl of potato chips, a fucking veggie plate? I got to sit there and smell that broccoli. I think it's my fucking feet. Well, forget about it. It's Butcher Box. So right now, Butcher Box, the special offer is free wings for the life of your subscription. That's 3 pounds of wings in every box forever. Plus, you get $20 off your first box and free shipping in the lower 48. Just go to butcherbox.com/church and use promo code CHURCH at checkout. The other company, I love them. Why? Because they save you time, they save you money, and they just save you headaches. What are you going to do with a resume? Look at it through a crystal ball? Forget about that. That's where ZipRecruiter comes in. It's a new year. It's the year of the pig of your Chinese. The perfect opportunity to take your business to the next level by hiring the right people. But finding qualified candidates is a challenge. Half these people are fucking stupid. ZipRecruiter.com/church makes it very easy. You're like, Joey, why? ZipRecruiter sends your job to 100 of the web's leading job boards, but they don't stop there, all right? With their powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans through thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience and invite them to apply to your job. As application comes in, ZipRecruiter analyzes each one and spotlights the top candidates so you never, ever, ever, ever miss a great match. ZipRecruiter is so effective. Let me tell you something. That 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's time. That's saving you money. That's saving you the number one thing, aggravation. Do me a favor. Let's cut this out. Grab a pen. You're going to go to an exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/church. ZipRecruiter. You ready? Zip, Z-I-P, Recruiter, RECRUITER.com, church for another you stupid people. CHURCH. That's ZipRecruiter.com/church. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. I want to welcome Butcher Box. I want to give a shout out to ZipRecruiter, but most importantly, I want to thank you fucking savages for having my back. I will see you Saturday night, ready to fucking rock in Atlanta. I'm ready to rip somebody's heart out. I did 2 spots last night in the store, just getting fucking fired up. The one joke ate the bag of dicks, but the other one's on point. You're going to love it. I promise you this. I love you motherfuckers with all my heart. Remember, the song of the day out of respect for Buffalo is You and I could have shown up with, what's the other one he did? But
Super
no.
Freak and all that?
Nah, fuck that shit. It's either You, I, or 69 times. You ever hear 69 times? He did it on Letterman.
I haven't seen the Letterman one.
And he
no.
kept doing 69 times. And when he sat down,
He's the
Letterman
best.
looked at Rick James and said, "Is that off your Christmas album?" I love you, motherfuckers. Stay black. Give it a whirl. I'll see you motherfuckers in Atlanta Saturday night or in Tempe Valentine's Day weekend. Kick that fucking mule, Lee.